Hello everyone. Already we have seen what is income from other sources, casual income and sundry incomes relating to other sources. In this video, we will learn about interest on securities and gift income, its provisions, problems and solutions. Interest on securities is chargeable to income tax under the head income from other sources if the securities are held as investment, and it is taxable under the head business and profession if the securities are held as stock in trade. So in case of income from other sources, the security should be held as an investment, then only it will come under income from other sources. The securities can be of following forms: securities issued by central government or state government, commercial securities, securities in the form of list tax securities and tax-free securities. Rate of tax deducted at source is 10% for listed and unlisted securities. And we have to gross up the interest income. For grossing up, already the rate of interest is given as 10%. So in case we want to gross up, the formula is net interest into 100 by 90. Because 10% is a tax, 100 minus 10, that is 90. Tax treatment for government securities. Income received on government securities are taxable. Interest received on tax-free government securities are taxable but need not be grossed up. Interest received on less tax government securities is also taxable but need not be grossed up. So in case of government securities, they are taxable. At the same time, though they are tax-free government securities and less tax government securities, they will not be grossed up. Now let us see what are all the interest on securities which is exempt under section 10 subsection 15. Under plan certificates, national plan certificate, national plan savings certificate for 12 years, post office savings, post office national savings certificate. This is an important adjustment you may always get. So post office savings bank account interest is exempt up to 3,500, rupees 7,000 in case of joint account. In case of individual, it is 3,500. Then public account or post office savings account, interest up to 5,000. Post office cumulative time deposits, post office fixed deposits and post office cash certificates. Third subheading, fixed deposits, fixed deposit government savings certificates, special deposit schemes 1981, non-resident rupee deposit schemes. In other securities, national defense gold bonds or gold deposit bonds, special bearer bonds, 7% capital investment bonds, 9% national relief bonds, 12-year national savings annuity certificates and treasury savings deposit certificates. Already I have told you about government securities. Now we will see interest on commercial securities. In case of interest on commercial securities, they are taxable. If the rate of interest and value of security is given, then the interest value computed indicates gross amount itself and need not be grossed up. Both tax-free commercial securities and less tax securities issued by private companies have to be grossed up. Here both tax-free commercial as well as less tax securities are always grossed up. In case of debentures, no tax is deducted if public is substantially interested in the company, debenture holder is a resident, debentures are listed in stock exchange, if the interest is paid by the company through account payee checks, the total interest that is payable to the debenture holder during the relevant previous year does not exceed rupees 5,000. There are some taxes which are not deducted from interest income. They are interest payable on 4% national defense bonds, 4.5% national defense loan, interest payable on national development bonds, 7-year national savings certificates, debentures issued by any cooperative society, gold bonds 6.5% or 7% gold bonds, central or state government securities, interest on term deposits with bank where amount of interest does not exceed rupees 10,000 for the previous year. So to put it in a nutshell, the rules for grossing up interest. Here interest, all the interest on securities, we can divide it as less tax securities and tax free securities. If the less tax security is government security, then there is no need to gross up. If the less tax security is a commercial security, if percentage is given, no need to gross up for commercial securities. In case if the commercial security amount is given, amount received is given, and if it is listed or unlisted, in that case you have to gross up. The formula for gross up is amount received into 100 by 90. Now coming to tax free securities. In case of tax free securities or government securities, always it's exempted from the tax. In case of commercial securities, in case if the percentage is given, always we have to gross up whether it is listed or unlisted. Amount received into 100 by 90. So here throughout we can see that for the government securities, in case of less tax security, we need not gross up. At the same time for commercial securities, if percentage is given, we need not gross up. And government security, in case of tax-free securities, it is exempt from tax. In other cases, like if the amount is given, if like amount received is given or net amount is given, you have to surely gross up the interest on securities. We'll see problems. Compute the income from the year ending 31/3/2019 under the head income from other sources of Mr. Joe. His investments are 5% government securities, rupees 70,000, 8% Agra municipal bonds, rupees 50,000, 9% debentures of a company, rupees 30,000, 7% capital investment bonds, rupees 20,000, 7 years post office national savings certificates, rupees 10,000, 6% securities issued by foreign government, rupees 10,000. So here 5% government securities is given as 70,000. Right, computation of income from other sources, 5% government securities is 70,000 into 5%, 3,500 is the interest amount. Then 8% Agra municipal bonds, 50,000 interest is 50,000 into 8%, so it is 4,000. Now coming to the debentures of a company, 30,000 is the amount of debentures and 9% is the interest. So 9% into 30,000, so it is 2,700. 7% capital investment bonds is given as 20,000. So relating to the 7% bonds, I told you interest on securities exempted under section 10 subsection 15, 7% capital investment bond is given. So it is exempt. So we will not take this into consideration. It's exempt. Then 7 years post office national saving certificate is also exempt. It's given here, 7 years national saving certificate, tax not deductible for interest income. So this is also exempt. 6% securities issued by foreign government, rupees 10,000. So for this we have to calculate the interest. 10,000 into 6%, so it comes to 600. So if you sum up, you get 10,800. This is the income from other sources. Now problem number 2. Calculate income from other sources of Mr. Rajan, who furnishes the following details for the assessment year 2019-2020. 54,000, 10% tax-free debentures of Malwa Textiles. So here tax-free income is given. We'll see one by one. So 54,000, 10% tax-free debentures is given. You write computation of income from other sources. So here 10 tax-free debentures. So in case of tax-free, we have to gross up. Here 54,000 is the amount, total amount. In that 10% is the interest. So 10 by 100. We have to gross up because as it is tax-free, we have to gross up. So 100 by 90. I told you regarding this tax-free. Again, I'll show you the chart. Just have a look at this chart and chart. This will be helpful for preparing your problems. These are all the main rules for grossing up interest. So this will help you in doing the problems as well. So tax-free debentures, tax-free of Malwa Textiles 54,000, 10%. So in case of tax-free securities, if it is a commercial one, you have to, what you have to do, you have to gross up. So here 10% tax-free interest on debentures of Malwa Textiles, 54,000 into 10 by 100 into 100 by 90. 100 by 90 is for grossing up. 10 by 100 is the rate of interest. So you get 6,000. The next one is 36,000, 10% tax-free debentures of Sugar Mill Company listed in stock exchange. So here 36,000, again it's a tax-free debenture. Again it has to be gross up. So 36,000 into 10 by 100 into 100 by 90. 10 by 100 is the rate of interest and 100 by 90 is the grossing up. So which gives you 4,000. 4,000 is the amount of interest. 8% relief bonds. Relief bonds is exempt. Next 22,500 tax-free bonds issued by public company at 10%. So again this is tax free. So again you have to gross up 22,500 into 8 by 100 into 100 by 90, which gives you 2,000. When you add up all these, you get 12,000. This is the income from other sources. The interest is paid on 31st December annually. He paid 2% commission on net interest to his bank for the collection of interest. So 2% commission is paid. In case of commission, we have to take actual interest into consideration. So here actual interest means here and all we have grossed up, but now we have to take only the actual interest. So 54,000 into 10% is 5,400. 36,000 into 10% is 3,600. And 22,500 into 8% is 1,800. If you add up all these, you get 10,800. In that 2% of commission you have to compute, you get 216. If you deduct this correction charges, you get 11,784, which is the taxable income from other sources. Problem number 3. Shri Anand has the following investments for the previous year ended 31/3/2019. 10% 30,000 government securities, 10% 40,000 Karnataka government loan, 10% 30,000 and 20 tax-free debentures of the company, 10% 20,000 debentures listed of tea company, rupees 7,110 received as interest on debentures of an unlisted company, received rupees 18,000 as interest on tax-free debentures listed of a tea company. He paid commission to his bank ₹500 for collecting the above amounts. Find out his taxable income from the interest on securities for his assessment year. Now in this problem, we are given government securities and debentures. So for government securities, we need not gross up. So here 10% government securities is 10% of government securities 30,000 into 10% 3,000, 40,000 into 10% Karnataka government loan is 4,000. Now coming to the debentures, 10% 30,000 20 tax-free debentures is given. So as tax-free debentures is given, we have to cross up. So net amount is 30,000 20 into 10 by 100. 10 by 100 is the interest rate, and for grossing up 100 by 90. It gives you 3,325. Next one, 10% 20,000 debentures listed of a tea company. As it is a listed company, you need not nothing received is not given here. Either received or net amount is not given. Moreover, 10% 20,000 debentures, just it's given as 10% 20,000. In case if it is net amount or received is given, then only you have to gross up. Here you need not gross up. 10% debentures listed of a tea company 2,000. Next, here you see just here 7,110 received as interest. As received, the word received is given, you have to cross up. 7,110 into 100 by 90, it gives you 7,900. Received 18,000. Again here received, the amount received is there 18,000 on interest-free tax-free debentures listed of a tea company. So again 18,000 into 100 by 90, it gives you 20,000. So only one thing you have to remember, in case if it is received is given for a listed or unlisted company, you have to gross up. So totally it comes to 40,235. Here collection charge is given as 500. So you deduct 500, you get 39,735. That is the taxable income from other sources. Next, one more problem. Fourth one. Compute income from other sources of Mr. Krishnamurthy, who held the following investments during the previous year 2018-19. 11,000 10% central government securities, 36,000 10% tax-free commercial securities, rupees 6,300 received as interest on tax-free public limited company securities, 7,200 received as Karnataka government securities, 4,500 received as interest on debentures, 30,000 13.5% securities of paper mill limited listed, rupees 35,000 11% securities of paper mill company listed, 10,000 15% Jaipur Municipal Corporation bonds, dividend from ABC Limited Company. During the year, he also got a prize in Karnataka State Lottery. The net amount received by him was rupees 35,000. Interest on all securities is payable on 1st July every year. Bank charges rupees 200 as collection charges. So now we'll take the incomes one by one. First we will take the dividend income. Dividend income is given here. Dividend from ABC Limited is 4,000. ABC, as I told you, ABC is an Indian company. In case of Indian company, it's exempt from tax. So dividend from ABC exempt from tax. Next, we have a casual income of during lottery prize. He has got a lottery prize. Here net amount of lottery is 35,000. Net amount lottery is 35,000. 35,000 into 100 by 70, because net amount is given, net amount received is given, so we have to gross up. For casual income, the tax deducted at source is 30%. So while grossing up, we have to take 35,000 into 100 by 70. So it comes to 50,000. Then any other casual income is given? No, it's not given. So we'll write interest on securities. Right from the beginning we'll start writing. So 11,000 10% central government securities. 11,000 10% central government securities. Here 10% we have to calculate. 11,000 into 10%, we get 1,100. Next, 36,000 10% tax-free commercial securities. It's tax-free commercial securities. In case of tax-free commercial, we have to gross up. So 36,000 into 10 by 100 into 100 by 90. 10% is the interest, 36,000 into 10% is the interest, and 100 by 90 is for grossing up. So we get 4,000. Next, rupees 7,200 received as Karnataka interest on Karnataka government securities. So 7,200 is the Karnataka government securities. Government, even though it is received for government securities, we need not gross up, so we write it like just like that, 7,200. Next, we have 6,300 received as interest on tax-free public limited company. So here in case of public limited company, whether it listed company, you have to gross up because it is received is given here. So 6,300 into 100 by 90, you get 7,000. Next, 4,500 received as interest on debentures. So here also the interest received is given 4,500. In case if received is given, we have to gross up. 4,500 is the amount of interest which is given. So interest directly is given 4,500 into 100 by 90. Will gross up. We'll get the interest amount of rupees 5,000. Next one, 30,000, 13.5% securities of paper mill. So 13.5% interest is given. 30,000 is the whole amount. So 13.5 into 30,000. We'll calculate 4,050. Here you are not given anything received or net amount, so we'll take it directly. Again, 35,000 11% securities of paper mill listed is given. So again, you are not given either net amount or received. You are given directly the amount. So 35,000 into 11% will calculate the interest. We get the interest amount of rupees 3,850, that we have to take it as it is. Then 10,000 15% Jaipur Municipal Corporation bonds. So 15% of 10,000 gives you 1,500. If you sum up the whole thing, you get the total income from other sources of 83,700. Then we are given bank charges of rupees 200. If you deduct the collection charges of 200, you get the taxable income from other sources of 83,500. Next, we will see the provisions for gift income. Monetary gift received by individual or Hindu undivided family without consideration will be chargeable to tax. The sum of money is received by an individual or Hindu undivided family on or after 1/10/2009. Such sum or money received without consideration. Sum of money should be received without consideration. The sum of money will be chargeable to tax. The aggregate value of such sum received during the previous year exceeds 50,000. In case if the aggregate value of the income exceeds 50,000, in that case the gift income is chargeable to tax. There are certain exemptions here for treatment of gift income. We'll see what are those. Money received from relatives. So here money received from relatives is exempted from tax for under gift. So received from his relative for this purpose means relative. What do you mean by relative here? Spouse of individual, brother or sister of an individual, brother or sister of the spouse of the individual, brother or sister of either of the parents of the individual, any lineal ascendant or descendant of the individual, any lineal ascendant or descendant of the spouse of the individual, spouse of the person referred to him in B to F above. Next, apart from money received from relatives, I told you who are the relatives here. Then money received by a Hindu undivided family from its members. Then money received on occasion of marriage of the individual. Money received under will by the way of inheritance, in contemplation of death of the payer or donor. Money received from local authority. Money received from fund, foundation, university or other educational institutions, hospital or other medical institutions, any trust or institution referred to in section 10 subsection 23C. Money received from trust or institution registered under section 12AA. So here in case of relatives, in case of members of Hindu undivided family, or in case of occasion of marriage of the individual, or if he inherits, the person, if the assessee inherits through a will, or in case if he is received from a local authority, in that case the gift income will not be taxable. Now let's see one problem based on this. The following incomes are received by Mr. A during the financial year 2018-19. Director's fees is given 6,000. Income from agricultural land in Pakistan 40,000. Income from post office savings bank account 1,500. Interest on fixed deposit in State Bank of India 1,800. So here we'll first take down winnings from lottery net 21,56,000. We'll just prepare the computation of income from other sources simultaneously. We'll take director's income. Director's fees comes under other income. So other income or sundry incomes, you can write it as. So 6,000. Income from agricultural land in Pakistan is 40,000. Then interest income, you have interest on fixed deposits in State Bank of India 1,800. This income from post office savings bank account, it's given as 1,500, but it is exempt to the extent of rupees 3,500. Interest on post office saving bank account is exempt up to 3,500, which we have seen in the provision. Interest on fixed deposits, it's over. Then winning from lottery net. So casual, it's a casual income. Winning from lottery net amount is given 21,56,000. So for this we have to gross up 21,56,000 into 100 by 70, because as it is casual income, for casual income it is 100 by 70, and in case of interest on securities it is 100 by 90. That is 10% income is deducted at source for interest on securities, and for casual income 30% of interest, 34% is deducted as income from the source. So here winning from crossword puzzle, it is 2,500 given. You are recording it here. Then now come to the royalty of books 20,000, and expenses of writing books is given. So royalty of books is 20,000. Then expenses you have to deduct it 4,000, so it comes to 16,000. Now amount of some gift, we'll see the gift portion later. One more item is there. Mr. A purchases a land for rupees 25 lakh, stamp duty value is 25.5 lakhs. And Mr. A purchases house for rupees 6 lakhs and stamp duty value is 7 lakh. So already we have seen this adjustment. Immovable property acquired for an inadequate consideration is taxable if excess stamp duty value is more than 50,000. In case if the value, stamp duty value is more than 50,000, immovable property is taxable. So in this case you are given two items here. One is purchase of land and another is purchase of house. Here it is 25 lakhs minus 25.5 lakhs, so it is 50,000. So you can claim an exemption, whereas here 6 lakhs stamp duty value is 7 lakh. So 1 lakh amount is taxable. So here purchase of house 7 lakh minus 6 lakh, that is 1 lakh. Next, amount of gift. We'll calculate the gift. In case of gift, for here another sum of gift of rupees 25,000 upfront is received by Mr. A on 11/10/2018. So here you can see that there is some more gift items given. Cash gift from A's father 20 lakhs. In case of relative, gift is not taxable. So gift from father is not taxable. The others like friends or those who are not relatives, for them the gift is taxable. If the gift is got from them, then it is taxable. So cash gift received from A's friend 23,000 is there, so that 23,000 is taxable. Again, another sum of cash gift of rupees 25,000 from a friend is received by Mr. A. So another gift is received for 25,000. So 25,000 also we record it here. Here cash received from another friend of Mr. A 22,000. So 22,000, that is also taxable. Then another gift of the amount rupees 26,000 received by Mr. A from his friend on 28/10. So 26,000. So we have four amounts here. One is cash gift received from A's friend 23,000. Cash gift received from another friend of Mr. A 22,000. 25,000 of received on 11/10/2018, and another gift received from the friend of Mr. A 26,000. So totally 4 gifts are received. It's more than 50,000, so it is taxable. So if you sum up these, you get 96,000. So totally it comes to 33,42,300. This is the taxable income from other sources. One thing you have to remember, in case if the gift is received from father or gift is received in case of marriage or something like that, or any through will or inheritance, in that case it's not taxable. Next, compute income from other sources of Mr. Arun from particular given below for the assessment year 2019-20. Interest on deposits with the money rupees 10,000. University remuneration. We'll simultaneously do the problem. Here dividend, interest on deposits with money. So interest on deposits is interest income. So it comes under interest income. You write it as 10,000. University remuneration for working as examiner rupees 8,000. So university examination remuneration it comes under other income. So university remuneration for working as an examiner, it's 8,000. Then royalty of writing books 80,000. He claims to have spent 20,000 on writing these books. So royalty income is 80,000. From that we have to deduct the amount spent on writing the books, that is 20,000, you get 60,000. Then dividend is given, dividend declared by a company. A company is an Indian company, so dividend is exempt. Again, interim dividend declared by 1/3/2019, but paid on, if nothing is mentioned, specifically mentioned about the company, you have to assume it as a Indian company. So interim dividend is also exempt here. Family pension received 48,000. So in case of family pension received, already we have seen the provision. Again, I have written the provision here, standard deduction at 1/3 of 48,000 or 15,000, whichever is less. So here 1/3 of 48,000 is 16,000 or 15,000. In this less amount is 15,000. So here 48,000 minus 15,000, you get 33,000. Next, cash gift received from a sum of rupees 80,000 is received as a birthday gift from a friend on Mr. Arun's birthday. So 80,000 is received as a gift. So it's gift from a friend. So this is taxable. It's more than 50,000. So automatically it is taxable. Again, a sum of 50,000 is received as a gift from his another friend. So 80,000 plus 50,000. Cash gift received from Mr. Arun's father. Arun's father is a relative of Arun. So it's not taxable. Cash gift received from his friend Mr. J. So this 25,000 is also taxable. Received jewelry worth rupees 60,000 from his non-resident friend. So non-resident friend, again, he has received an amount as a gift. This is also taxable from a friend. So here, then cash gift of rupees 40,000 was received on occasion of wedding of Arun. He has received in the course of marriage 40,000 on occasion of marriage, so it is not taxable. But the other incomes are taxable. 80,000 he has received as a gift. Then 50,000 he has received as a gift from another friend. Cash gift of 1 lakh is from the father, so it's not taxable. Cash gift received from his friend 25,000, this is taxable. And 60,000 of jewelry, 60,000, this is also taxable. Totally it comes to 2,15,000. So total income from other sources is, if you sum up all these, you get 3,26,000. This is the total income from other sources. With this, we come to the end of the Unit 2 income from other sources. There are important problems relating to casual income and income from others, income from securities, which is always asked in exams. So please prepare the provisions. In the next video, we will see about the aggregation of